Welcome to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia, and I am your host. As we're getting started with this episode, I just want to acknowledge the state of things here in the United States, particularly thinking about the folks in Minnesota right now. In a lot of ways, it feels kind of silly to continue on with something like a travel podcast. And I hope that if you feel that's the case, please feel free to step away for a time and rejoin me when you're ready. But my hope, as it always is that this podcast serves as an escape for you, that it can be an opportunity for you to daydream and to think ahead to better times in your happy place, making memories with your friends and your family. So with that, let's get into today's episode. Today, I am welcoming back John, who is known as the WDW Runner on Instagram. He's from North Carolina, near Charlotte, and as his handle suggests, he is a runner who loves running at Disney. On today's episode, you'll hear about his recent trip to Disney for Marathon Weekend, where his wife participated in the half marathon, and John participated in the Dopey Challenge. If you don't know what that is, it means he did the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, and the full marathon all in one trip. For this trip, they stayed at All Star Sports, and they plan to go into all four parks over the course of the week. So that should be plenty to have you caught up. Let's cross the starting line and get into the reason you're here today. Please welcome John. Welcome back, John.
Thank you for having me back.
You've crossed the finish line 4 times
I made
since
it.
we spoke.
Yes. 4 finishes. I made it, so survived.
Well, you do every time. So you know what my follow-up question is. Any personal records?
Only one this time, the half. So, but I
Only
wasn't
one.
only one. And I told myself I was gonna, take it easy, and I did for the marathon. But it was really hot that day, and we'll get into that probably later. But
Okay.
yeah, the half, it was good temperature, and I felt really good that day, and it just kind of happened. I never really shoot for it down there, but sometimes it happens.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hear all about the fun. I was able to pay attention to some of your posts, and then work has been crazy. So I have not seen all of them, but I did take note how cute your Chip and Dale medal was.
It's always the best. It's
I
the
love it.
10K medal, and I tell my wife because she always does the half. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of her race now. But I'm like, she loves Chippendale. It's less stress on you, and I'm like, just do the 10K. She's like, I'm not going all the way down there just to do the 10K. I say, you're going down there anyway to travel with me if you don't do any race. So might as well do
Mm-hmm.
one that you like, and the medal's always the best. One
That's
year it was
true.
Oswald. The first year I
Oh,
did it, 2022, it was Oswald. It was awesome, and then it's been Chippendale ever since. But it's still
huh.
usually the best medal.
Yeah. I wonder if there's just somebody in the Disney team that's just like has a special affinity for 10Ks and is like, I'm always going to make this one the best.
Yeah, it may be, and it's kind of weird because the other medals are like the Fab Five, so you
Mm-hmm.
could almost rotate that 10K medal and make it different every year or something like that. It would be
Mm-hmm.
it'd be neat to do that.
Yeah. Let's just jump into it. So Monday, January 1st was your travel day, but you were working a full day.
Yeah, the fifth, Monday, January
Mm-hmm.
5th.
How
Yeah, so
how was that? Was your flight on time? Because I always worry about that with later flights.
it was actually, and we've never really had but one delay
Mm-hmm.
leaving Charlotte and going to Orlando. But yeah, this one was on time. It- no stress. I think it was like 9:30 was our flight.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a fairly late flight. The airport wasn't crowded, so it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't as chaotic as it can be a lot of times. So yeah, everything went smooth. We were able to drop the kids off with my wife's parents and get to the airport without any traffic really.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing compared to New York, but Charlotte traffic can be kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to avoid that, and yeah, smooth sailing to Orlando. I think we even got in a little earlier than anticipated. So
Oh, good. Okay. And how was the ride over to All Star Sports and the check-in process?
it was great. Always usually grab an Uber right at the where we pick up the luggage because Orlando's magnificent on by the time you walk and ride the tram over to the terminal to get the
Mm-hmm.
baggage claim, it's usually, your baggage is coming out of the chute. So we didn't have to hardly wait at all grabbed the bags, stepped right outside, waited maybe 5 minutes, and got an Uber. And at that time of night, it was a little bit cheaper than normal.
Oh,
So
good.
we were able to get to All Stars. It was before midnight, probably, and we were scheduled to check in right around that midnight time. So we got in. They put us on the first floor at the at the furthest building. So I talked to the cast member, and they were able to find us something on the second floor at a closer building,
Hmm.
and for the next morning. So we didn't really even unpack. We just got some clothes for the next day out and had our stuff ready. So dropped it at Bell Services the next morning, and they moved our stuff
Hmm.
to a better room.
Do you usually prefer not to be on the first floor?
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm like, I should like the first floor. There's less stairs, less wear and tear on my legs. But I don't know. I don't like being on the first floor. I like being, if I'm
Hmm.
going to be at the All Stars, I like to be at least on the second floor. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, just I don't know. Maybe nothing to it, but
I'm the same way, and I
yeah.
have decided that it's because when you're on the first floor, you're much more likely to have people walking past your room because
Yes.
usually on an upper floor, they're only walking past your room if they're also staying on that floor. But
Yes.
first floor, it could be anybody. And then also, I find that people wheeling their suitcases, it's louder
Oh,
on that first
yes.
floor sidewalk than it is upstairs.
You're right.
So that's why I like it. But
Yeah, that makes sense. We were near the pool, at least when they moved our rooms.
mhm.
So, and then they were showing movies one night. And I'm like, y'all know this is marathon weekend. People were going to bed early, but I was able to block it out pretty easily.
What section were you in terms of the theming?
We were in building 6. So I can't even remember what that one was. It wasn't the football section. We're originally in the baseball section, and
Okay.
then moved to building 6. And honestly, I didn't even pay attention to which one it was. I just knew it was close.
Mm.
It was like if you walk out of the resort, past the lobby, the pool's right there in front of you, and we were right to the left.
Oh,
So it was a
okay.
great location.
Okay.
Didn't have far to go in the mornings, and when we got back to the resort after a long day, it was easy to get right back to our room.
Yeah. All right. All right. So Tuesday, January 6th was a Magic Kingdom day,
Yes,
and
yes.
you had some lightning lanes that you had arranged for. So where did you start your day?
Yeah, so we started, like I said, I always start at the Magic Kingdom if I can help it. Um,
Hmm.
that's usually the best way to start a Disney trip. So we had lightning lanes for Pirates was the first ride. So did that, did Haunted Mansion, and then Space Mountain that's probably my all-time favorite ride. It was there when I was a little kid, and it was my favorite ride then. And then now, of course, I like Expedition Everest and Guardians. Have kind of dethroned it, but it's still a special place in my heart. And then we had the individual lightning lane for Tron. But as soon as we went on Pirates, we started stacking fast passes. So we didn't
Hmm.
we didn't wait for anything all day. We rode everything that we wanted to ride except for I think Jungle Cruise.
Hmm.
So it was great. It was a great day.
So I have recently learned that there is a 3 hour window actually for your lightning lanes. Did you know
For
about this?
for like the return time.
Okay, so essentially, when you have the lightning lane scheduled, it says that you need to use, let's say you have a 1 p.m. So you're supposed to use it between 1 and 2 p.m. Even after 2 p.m., if it disappears from your app, you still have like 2 more hours that you can technically use it. Like if you go scan with it, it will light up and let you through.
Wow, okay. I thought there was
So
always I always heard there was a 15-minute window after your
that's what I heard
time.
too.
So
That's
if it
what I
was
heard
like two
too.
to three, you'd have until 3:15. And we've actually in past trips gotten turned away before because we were late
Mm.
and we'd had to say, we were at dinner or we were stuck because of another rod breaking down or something.
That is
And
what
they're
I always
flexible,
heard too.
but
And I thought it was pretty strict because I had always heard 5 minutes before, which I know is true. It's 5 minutes
yeah.
before you can get in. And then I heard 15 minutes after. But I think it is, oh gosh, not Disney Food Blog. What's the other big one?
All ears.
Yes, I
Maybe.
think so. I think so.
Yeah.
They've been doing tests and they've been like publishing things about it. Like they'll test, a certain number of hours after, and then I think you have 3 hours total to use it. So
Wow.
at like the 3 hour and 1 minute mark they tested, and it's like a very strict cutoff at the 3 hours.
At that mark.
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna find the information because my friend Jeanette has been messaging me about it and being like, see, here's another example. Here's another example. So I will find something in writing. I'm going to put it in the show notes just so that people can refer to it. But it seems
Yeah.
pretty concrete based on the fact that a major influencer group
Yeah.
like that is like literally they're continuing to run these tests because they're like it's
Hmm.
still working, it's like a loophole that's been going on for forever, and if that's the case
Hey,
then you can really stack
that sounds like it, but
anyway.
I never get to that point because I'm always like I'm the one that's there 5 minutes before every
Oh
time, and
yeah, me too.
then I'm grabbing my next one. So I'm always thinking ahead, like what can I get next? What's going to be available? It's always like a
Hmm.
mystery, and then it's kind of crazy. Some of them are like, oh crap, I can't get that till 8 p.m., and then other ones you can get immediately. So it's
Yeah.
just you just never know.
So when after you started doing your lightning lanes with pirates, did you have those all kind of back to back?
Yes, I kind of scheduled them, and sometimes I even have them in the same window, like of
Hmm.
time, and just you gotta. The way I look at it is you have an hour, you can get across the park, and I try to put them in an order to where we're not going back and forth, back and forth.
Right.
But yeah, I had them pretty much within an hour of each other, and then
Hmm.
usually I'll try to have a little bit of space in there for a meal, or if we're at some other parks, schedule some time in for a show that's not. Well, because I don't usually waste a lightning lane on a show, I'll just go sit wherever.
Right.
So yeah, I think they were pretty much back to back to back to back, and it was nonstop. And then if we had a little bit of a gap, we would do like either TTA or like Carousel of Progress, or I'm telling you,
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of the Refurb Country Bear Show. So
Oh, I like it too.
that's becoming a must do every trip now. I never thought I would say that.
Yeah, and for listeners who are not as Disney savvy with all of the acronyms and everything, the TTA is actually the People Mover,
People Mover, sorry.
transportation. What is it? Tomorrowland
Tomorrowland Transit
Transport
Authority.
Authority. Yes,
Yeah,
there we go.
sorry.
No, 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 no. I'm just clarifying because we have a mix of people who listen. Like some people
Okay,
who
okay.
are like experts, and some people who are like, I'm just starting to plan. I don't know what any of this is, so I just like to make sure we're all on the same page.
That's right. Well, now somebody can drop that acronym and
Hmm. Yeah.
they'll feel important, they'll
Yep. All right. What did you do next?
All right, so we wanted to stay at the Magic Kingdom that night because that was one of the few nights we had, that we could stay up as late as we could.
Mhm.
Magic Kingdom was open until 10 o'clock that night. Wanted to check out the new Starlight Parade, which is the nighttime parade.
Mhm.
I was always a big fan of the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Yeah.
When I first started going back to Disney with my wife when we were just dating, that was what was running through. So it was kind
Mhm.
of either in between or after Spectro Magic had ended. And so I really loved that parade. I loved the music, and it just kind of stuck with me. So I wanted to check this out, and it was neat because they had some throwbacks to the Main
Yeah.
Street Electrical Parade. So I really
Mhm.
enjoyed that, and then we stayed and watched the fireworks happily ever after. So
Where did you
it was
end up
great,
watching the parade from?
right in the middle of the hub.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
they used to kind of make you keep moving and don't block the walkways, but that wasn't the case this trip.
Hmm.
I'll tell you later, but we watched the fireworks the last night also, and it was the same thing. So
Hmm.
you could pretty much stand anywhere you wanted to in the hub. A lot of people were sitting down and even laying down, and then they would make everyone stand up and push forward. But we just went and stood, in an open spot, and there was plenty of space.
Mhm. Good.
So it was
Okay.
great.
Yeah, sometimes it can get quite competitive. So I'm
Yes, it
glad that you did not really experience that.
No, no. We didn't have to fight anybody, so it was good.
All right. So Wednesday, January 7th, this was an Epcot day and a Run Disney Expo day. So there was a virtual
Correct.
queue involved.
Yes, and the virtual queue opened at 8:30. And the beauty of having these, pre-picked lightning lanes is that you don't have to rope drop. Depending on what park you go to, especially, you can have everything scheduled. If you wanted
Hmm.
to ride, a ride multiple times, you could always go and rope drop and ride that. But wanted to try to take advantage of as much sleep as I could because I knew that was going to be at, a premium later on in the week.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to wait, and I was going to jump on that virtual queue at 8:30 and just kind of see what my callback time estimate was, and then that way we could plan the rest of our day. So I had started the lightning lanes actually for Epcot in the afternoon on that day. I think maybe 12 or 1 was the first one I had scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did the virtual queue, it said our callback time was like 140 minutes. So with our experience from previous years, we decided to just go straight on over to the expo, go ahead and go through the line to get our bibs. And then by that time, it should be almost time to be called back to go to the Run Disney merchandise. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we did. So we went through, caught a bus there at the resort over to the expo, which was crazy. I mean, it's that place. If you think some of the parks are busy, try to go to the expo on Wednesday morning, and it is nuts. Um, so the line was crazy, but it moved fairly good. The way they have it set up, it moves pretty steadily the whole time, and they've got you routed all over the place, switchbacks like you wouldn't believe. But we're able to get through. Got our bibs, got our race shirts. Rocking the Dopey shirt right now.
I love it.
Um, and then over to they have like the fitness expo where they have all the vendors, so you can
Mm-hmm.
go in there. That's actually where you pick your shirts up, and then they have, the running shoes, the energy drinks, the gels, the goos, sunglasses, any type of recovery merchandise, running gear. I mean, anything you could imagine that a runner
Mm-hmm.
might want or need is in that expo. So we spent a lot of time there. Kind of monitored the estimated callback, which was moving very slow. Ended up being where we probably could have went to Epcot that morning for a little while, because it did go so slow, and but it ended up working out. So we ended up having to wait a little bit longer, but we finally got into the merchandise section around probably 12:30 or 1. Which
Okay.
originally it was supposed to be around 11. So it was a little bit off on their estimate.
Any idea why it was so off?
The only thing we could think of is that the lines that once you got in just weren't moving like they had
Mm-hmm.
anticipated. Once you got in, they had the Dopey merchandise separate this year. So there was a whole nother queue you had to get in for Dopey merchandise only. And it
Mm-hmm.
was, you had to show your bib, your registration, and your ID, two different places, and you could only buy one item per person per
Mm-hmm.
bib, of each item that you wanted, if you wanted. But that line was an hour itself once you got inside. So
But you pre-ordered your dopey hoodie, right?
just the one. It was actually it turned out to be a sweatshirt this year, and they were out of all those except for I think a couple of extra large and two XLs by the time I got through the line, and I was one of the earlier ones because that line had grown to probably a 2 hour line by the time I got through it.
Mm-hmm. But
So
by pre-ordering it, you had already indicated your size, right? And everything. So it
yes,
was like you were guaranteed to get what you needed.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
That was
definitely.
smart.
But yeah, it worked out. I've never done that before, but I think in the future I would definitely do it again because you can always resell it and
Mm-hmm.
recoup your money, and that would work. Because the thing is, I pre-ordered. I usually get an extra large because I'm 6'1", like 220. But I like my stuff. I don't like it skin tight,
Mm-hmm.
so I get an extra large. But it was huge. It was really big on me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I waited in the long line, um, I got an extra large, even though I had pre-ordered an extra large, because I'm like, if they're gonna let me buy another one, I'll get it and recoup
Mm-hmm.
some of my money, possibly online.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went to do the pre-order pickup, I asked them if they could switch it for a large, and they let me switch it. So I ended up keeping the large, and I have an extra large on sale right now on eBay. If
Mm-hmm.
anybody wants it, check it out.
That's
So
the
I don't
thing
have
with
it.
the
I don't have it marked up too much, but I wanted to, get some of my money back.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Disney clothing items is that there's not a whole lot of consistency to sizing, and I'll say that that even applies to things like Spirit jerseys where you're like, "Oh, it's a Spirit jersey brand." I
Yeah,
have found that the sizing varies
it
because I
does.
have some Spirit jerseys that I bought in a small and I have some that I bought in a large, and I would say like most of the time I get a medium, but it's like I have to see it, I have to hold it up and be like, what do I actually need?
Exactly. And I've tried stuff on, right there in the store. I don't care.
Mhm.
I'll even put on a t-shirt over my t-shirt that I'm wearing. If it's, got a little bit extra room, I'm like, all right, this is going to be too big.
Right.
I always check to make sure and see if it's 100% cotton. There's
Mhm.
all different things. Just like you said, they're all the consistency is just not there on the
Yeah.
sizing. So you just
Yeah.
never know.
Did you get a pin? Because you were thinking about getting a pin.
I did. I did. I got
Okay.
two actually. I got a marathon weekend pin and then a Dopey Challenge pin. They had two Dopey Challenge pins, and I just got one of those.
Mhm.
And then I've got two other Dopey T-shirts. I got a cotton T-shirt and then one of the like athletic tight fit, dry fit
Mhm.
T-shirts. So I was like, if I waited in this line,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get something. But I think that might be part of their plan too. Make people say, if you go through the line, you're not just gonna waste your time
Right.
and
You don't
not
want to
buy
waste your
anything.
time. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
So
you in the past have not always bought anything or much at all. So,
correct.
I mean, this
Yeah,
is a shopping spree for you.
it was. It was crazy. Um, it was funny because in the past, one time I went online and ordered a jacket, a dopey jacket after the
Mhm.
fact. Last year, the hoodie everybody wanted, I've gone online and tried to buy that, and the ones that are still available online are still outrageously priced. So I
Mhm.
didn't get anything there, but yeah, it's usually a pin is all that's left. You might be able to find a like I did it shirt, like I
Mhm.
finished, but they're kind of rare. But now I think with the way they're doing it, I
Mhm.
think it'll be a little bit more available. I still wish they would order more of it because they're going to sell it. I mean, they
Yeah.
sell out before the first day is halfway over. So
Mhm.
open it up the rest of the week to everybody else, and they'll get rid of it.
Right. But I mean, to your point earlier, like if you go ahead and either pre-order it or if you're there and you're like, I'm not really sure, like just go ahead and get it because you
Yeah.
will be able to resell it.
Yeah, it can't hurt. So, a funny story too about a little magic that happened. So, we let our annual passes expire because
Mhm.
the plan is to only go this one time, and which that's gonna be tough, but we'll figure it out. So when we got to the checkout, they always ask you, "You have any discounts?" And I said, "Well, I was a former annual pass holder," just kind of joking, and the guy was like, "Okay, boom," and just gives me the
Oh.
discount. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." So that made it a little more doable on my shopping spree.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yes. So
That
don't count on
20%
that,
makes
but
a
you
big
never know.
difference.
It does. It really does.
So, what time did you end up getting over to Epcot with all of this
Oh
madness?
gosh. So during that process, I was constantly on my phone rearranging fast pass. I always say that lightning lane return times, and so I think we finally got over to Epcot around 2 or 2:30. So
Okay.
we almost thought about in the future, do we even plan a park day on Expo Day?
Mhm.
But I think next year I'm just gonna, like you said, pre-order everything and just go for it that way. But we'll see. So we ended up getting over to Epcot. Our first Lightning Lane, I think, was 2:30 to 3:30. It was Remy's.
Mhm.
So we usually take a bus over to either Boardwalk or Beach Club, whichever bus comes first. And so I think it was Beach and Yacht Club that came. So that's where we went and walked through the International Gateway and straight over to Remy's and rode that in 2D for the first time. So
Mhm.
it was cool. Actually think it was an improvement not having the 3D glasses. I don't
Hmm.
know how you feel, but I think it just kind of makes it more blurry when you're wearing a 3D glasses. I'm not a huge fan of
Yeah, I always have to work to position them on my nose in a way that's going to work with my astigmatism.
it.
So, yeah. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing how I
Yeah,
feel about it.
I liked
Yeah.
it. I don't think it took anything away from the ride. They didn't take any elements out as far as like when he sweeps the tomato to your face or
Hmm.
any of the other 3D aspects. It didn't change it at all. So I actually enjoyed it a lot more.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Then after that, I believe we had Soarin'. So we went over to the land and did Soarin' and Living with the Land, because you got to do Living with the Land.
Hmm.
Such an underrated attraction. And then, of course, we had a individual lightning lane for Guardians. And so we did that. We had Spaceship Earth.
Wait, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa.
whoa.
Back up, back up, back
Guardians.
up, back up, back up.
What song did you get?
Oh, we got September,
Oh,
which is
okay.
awesome, which is one of the two that I love the most. So that was a good to get that one. And we always, I don't know if I should tell this, but we always request to be in row nine.
Oh, same.
And if
It's the
you've
best
never
row.
rode in row nine, it's the best row. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks 10 or one, but no, it's got
No,
to be, it's just row nine. I'm telling you.
no. If you
So,
request row 9, you are in the very front once the cars turn around and face backwards, so you don't have anybody
yes,
in front of you. It's the best. And it's
it
worth
is.
waiting for, and the waiting for that car process does not take long. They just set
No,
you off to the side for a minute, and then you just wait maybe 5 minutes at the most, at the very
yeah.
most. And then before you know it, you're in row 9.
You're
So,
on it, and you'll love it. It's the best.
mm-hmm,
It's because you're at the back, but like you said, when the car flips around, you're the last row, but you're going backwards.
mm-hmm,
And then when you're on the last car like that, you're being pulled through. So I think it
mm-hmm.
seems faster. I don't know. Maybe it's the same, but it just seems like you're going faster.
Well, it's well worth it. I like
It
once you
is.
go row 9, you cannot go back, in my
No,
opinion.
cannot do
And
it.
some people are like, why would you want to waste the time like waiting for a certain round? Like, it barely takes any time, and my enjoyment factor is upped tenfold. So,
Yes, yes, 100% agree.
all right, what was after that? You said
That's it.
Spaceship Earth.
Hey, that's it. Spaceship Earth.
Mm-hmm.
We did. Oh, we ate dinner at in the Mexico Pavilion, right there on the water, at La Cantina. So,
Uh
which is
huh.
always a favorite of ours. I think it's a lot of the location and getting to eat outside on the water that makes
Mm-hmm.
it. I mean, the food we think is good. There's probably better options in Epcot, but it's just the atmosphere and everything is really
Mm-hmm.
nice, and it's one of the ones that we always try to eat at.
Yeah.
On a Disney trip. So after that, we kind of just strolled World Showcase. Um, but I did have a 5K the next morning, so
Mm-hmm.
I stayed up a little bit later than I probably should have that night. But I think I left Epcot around 6 or 6:30, um, and then my wife stayed for a little bit longer, and she wanted to watch the fireworks show at Epcot. So
Mm-hmm.
she stayed and did that, and kind of did some of her own thing. I think she did Nemo and friends over there in the Seas Pavilion, and I think she may have done. She may have wrote a couple other things, but yeah, I headed back to the resort. Had to wait forever on the bus that night,
Mm.
so I got back even later than I was thinking I would, and then got my shower and headed to bed. That first night's always the hardest night to fall asleep because you're amped
Yeah.
up, you're excited, you're anxious, you're not exhausted fully yet.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that expo did wear me out, and we joked later that that was worse than a race. It just
Mm-hmm.
drains you so much, just the lines and just the waiting around, and then the nerves of are they going to sell out of everything? Are they going to have my size? And so
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of a stressful day, but it was still a fun day.
Thursday, January 8th, you had to be up by like 2 or 2:30 and out the door to
Yes,
go get the first bus. How did you
yes. The
do?
first the first bus, it was they have signs all over the resorts, and it said the first bus would be leaving at 3 a.m. So my goal is to always be on that first bus,
Mm-hmm.
get over to the start line and get to the front of my corral. And that way I've always got, not that I'm scared that I'm going to get swept, but I just want to get through and get finished and get back so I can maybe get a little bit of a rest in before, start on a park day. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I set my alarm for that morning for around 2:30 because, in that morning I just get up and get my running stuff on. I don't have a lot of maintenance. If you check me out, I don't have a whole lot of hair up top, so not a lot of maintenance to be done. So get over and get ready and get on the bus. The weather was phenomenal. Last year, you remember our pictures, we were bundled up. I was
Mm-hmm.
wearing like ski masks and hoodies for the entire races. It was
Mm-hmm.
it was ridiculous, but this year it was nice. I took clothes to wear in the corral, at least like a long sleeve shirt, but I ended up, shedding those pretty quick because you just didn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect weather.
So, what time did you finish the 5K? Because this is a
Uh,
quick one for you.
yeah, it is, and I was in Corral D. So last year I looked back and I was in B, I think it was. For the way they do it in Dopey is they break it up. So the 5K and the 10K, you get one bib for that, and then for the half and the full, you get a separate bib. And some people it's the same.
Mhm.
for all four. Mine have been all different in the past. So I think last year I was B, and then I was E, and then so this year I was D for everything. So
Mhm.
kind of right in the middle, because I think it went through G was the last corral. But it went smoothly. I mean, once it starts going, they get those waves going, and it get through. So the very first runners go out at 5 a.m. I think it was
Mhm.
like 5:15, 5:16 when we started,
Mhm.
and so I was finished. I was finished before 6 a.m. But the buses don't start running immediately on the 5K. They have to wait until the course clears,
Mhm.
at least right there at the start line, because the buses run on that road that you start on,
Mhm.
basically. So they have to wait till that clears, and then the buses can take off. So I was back to the resort probably around 6:30.
Okay.
So it wasn't bad at all, and I was able to get a shower and lay down for a little bit. Maybe took a little snooze there while my wife got ready, and
Mhm.
then we were up and out the door toward Hollywood Studios.
Okay. And you had some lightning lanes booked for here as
Yes,
well,
we
and
did. We
big
did.
plans for a buffalo
Ah,
chicken grilled
yes,
cheese.
yes. I had to plan all my lightning lanes around the main attraction, which is ABC commissary. Oh
Love
gosh,
it.
it's so funny. It's so weird how you look forward to that. I was telling my wife, I said I look
Mhm.
forward to some of these meals more than some of the attractions and stuff.
Mhm.
It's weird. It's kind of like part of your trip when
Yeah.
you do some of the same things each and every time. It just becomes part of it, part of the
Mhm.
experience. So, our first lightning lane was for, I believe it was for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but when we got there, we had gotten an alert that it was down. So that and Rise of the Resistance, which is not a surprise. So we were able to do an alternate lightning lane. So we went over and did Slinky Dog. So
Mhm.
very first thing we did Slinky Dog, and then we were over toward I think it was the Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster. So we did those, and then we went over toward I guess it was toward Star Wars, over
Mhm.
toward Galaxy's Edge, because we had an individual lightning lane for Rise, and it was back up and running. Um, and then I can't remember the exact times without having to go back and look at my all my pictures, because of the time stamps on there. But we did ABC commissary because I like to eat like you've known in the past. I like to eat a little bit earlier, so a lot of these days we'll grab something for a later breakfast and then eat like either a late lunch or an early dinner, and then
Mhm.
maybe just have a snack or something later in the day right before I head back to the resort.
Mhm.
So had my buffalo grilled chicken, which was awesome as always,
Mhm.
and it wasn't crowded at all. I mean, ABC commissary, it was basically empty, and we were there, between 12 and 1, so it wasn't at a really odd time, but
Yeah.
it was great as always.
What
Um,
is your favorite side to get with that? Because you get a
ah,
side.
yeah, I've always just gone for the fries. Probably not the healthiest option,
Mhm.
but I know that you get the salad
I
most
love
of the
that
time,
farro salad.
and
It's so
everybody
good.
raves about it. So I need to try to get that more often, to be honest.
Have you ever had
So,
it?
no, I have
Oh,
not.
wow.
I need to
Okay.
try it. I know I need to try it.
It's really good.
I've heard good
Really, really
things. I've
good.
heard good things. When you said the side, I was thinking about. I thought you were going to ask me which side of the restaurant I like to sit on.
Oh, no,
So, like, if you
I
walk
don't
in
care
the
about
door, I
that.
always go to the right. Yeah, no, it's great. I
I
like to
would
go.
say I always go to the left. I mean, I
Do you?
have sat on the right, but my instinct is to go left. I
You
don't
go
know.
left. Oh,
Yeah.
I got a tip for any listeners that go into ABC commissary. So if you go all
Mhm.
the way to the left, you can go to the restrooms back there. You can go right past the restrooms and you can take a little sneak peek into the sci-fi dine-in. You can kind of
Mhm.
see in the back there. It's a neat place. If you've never eaten there, it's a cool experience. It's like you're at a drive-in movie, back in the day.
Yeah.
But you can kind of, if you eat at ABC, you can go and kind of look in the back behind the curtain and just kind of check it out
Mhm.
really quick. It's worth a look if you've never been in there.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that they share a bathroom.
Yeah,
It's
it is odd.
it's a little weird
Yeah,
just because the bathroom is kind of small and ABC commissary is huge.
it's huge. Yes.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. And then I think I said it in the pre-trip report, ABC commissary, and really Backlot Express at Hollywood Studios also has got the free refills. So a lot of Disney restaurants do not have that. So that's always a plus in my book too. So you kind of get your money's worth for a $5 fountain beverage.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's that's a pro tip. But then we did Toy Story Mania after that. We did Beauty and the Beast. We did the modified Indiana Jones show without the boulder. Um,
Yeah, and just we should pause and acknowledge the fact that we are in a
oh my
moment in time
gosh.
when very, very recently the boulder came off the track and came towards the audience, and a
Yes.
cast member threw his body in the way to
In
stop
front
people
of it.
from getting hit.
That was awesome. And that video didn't even look real, but
No,
it
I
just
thought it
goes
was
to,
AI at first.
yeah, I mean, the way he bounced off of that ball and hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy has been there. I read later, his name's Robert. He's been there for like over 30 years because I remember him when I was a kid at Hollywood. He's the same guy. He does the same role. He's always the director. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought, I mean, he looks the part to a T. I mean, if you
Mm-hmm.
imagine a Hollywood director, you would have a picture of that guy. But I saw a video the other day, just like a day or so ago, where he's got like a neck brace on, apparently
I saw that too. Yeah.
fractured two vertebrae in his neck. But he says he's going to get back out there, so hopefully they bring that effect back because that kind of is the
Mm-hmm.
whole first scene. It kind
Yeah.
of makes it, and I think they could, make the track a little higher on that side to prevent that from happening
Mm-hmm.
again, and bring that part back eventually. But safety is first. You got to make sure that
Obviously,
that.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
something had to go. I mean, that show's been around for how long, and that's the first time that's ever happened. So something funky had to
Yeah.
happen there. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But I'm glad he's going to be okay and
Yes,
everything.
yes,
And
yes.
of course, all of the different armchair experts out there were like, should he have thrown himself in front of it like that? Would it have made a difference if he had hit it from the side? And it's like,
He didn't
who
have time to
knows?
think about
Yeah, it was
that. I
on
mean,
the fly. He had to
yeah.
make
I
that
mean, I thought
decision.
it was
So,
just like so brave and heroic. He didn't even think
hmm
about it. He just jumped up and got in the way because, so I just think of a kid or
a
something just
kid,
sitting. I
yeah.
mean, that thing was bouncing toward the audience. So,
hmm
I mean, he just reacted, and I thought it was heroic.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, shout out to him.
Yeah, Robert.
Yay. All right. What was after that for you?
So that's still at Hollywood Studios. So, let's see what else did we do that night. Had to go get some blue milk from Galaxy's Edge. I rode Star Tours. My wife does not like Star Tours. Some of the the screen rides with the motion just messes her stomach up. So
Mhm.
rode that one a couple times by myself. So I was able to do my lightning lane and then hers because it doesn't. Luckily to this point, it still doesn't bother me. So I was able to do that. And then by that time, it's time for me to head back because the 10K was the next morning, and I wanted to get a little bit of extra rest. You
Mhm.
can't rely on the buses, so I wanted to give myself a little bit of extra buffer time. So
Mhm.
I actually got back to the resort around 6, so a little bit earlier that night. And then once got ready for got my shower and got ready for bed and start winding down and fell asleep pretty easily. And
Mhm.
she stayed at Hollywood Studios for just a little bit, and then she actually went uh, to Disney Springs for a little bit that night,
Oh, okay.
and decided to close that place down, I guess. So yeah, she was telling me about her shopping the next morning when she got
Mhm.
up. But yeah, so that was good. I'm glad she was able to have that time. And we didn't have park hoppers this trip either, so it was just one park per day. So her
Mhm.
options were stay in Hollywood Studios or go check out
Mhm.
Disney Springs. So that's what she decided to do.
Nice. Well, I'm glad she got
Yeah,
the opportunity to head over there. Sometimes it's, especially if you're on a trip where you have like a lot planned, like all these
hmm,
races and stuff, it's hard to justify making time for
yeah.
that. So it's nice when you can squeeze it in.
It is, and it's probably all in my head, but it just seems like it takes so much time to get over there and get back. I don't know. Maybe it's probably just the same as going anywhere else there, but
Mhm.
like you said, it just feels like I don't know. Not a waste. I hate to say it's a waste of time, but it
Mhm.
just seems like it takes so much longer than some of the other things. But it's probably not.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. So Friday, January the 9th, your 10K.
10K. Yes,
All
it
right.
was.
How was that?
It's great. It's probably my favorite distance because it's a little bit. of course, it's twice as long. You kind of double your races every day doing this Dopey challenge. So a little bit longer, but not quite, half marathon to where it's a real struggle. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a good distance. You get to run through Epcot uh, again, and then some on the roads. It's kind of, I don't know. Some people it's their favorite distance.
Mm-hmm.
Not too serious. I didn't do a PR or anything. I think all of my races were in my top five fastest runs, but nothing crazy. And I never set out to set a record. So sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
happens, sometimes it doesn't. But just to enjoy it and try to think ahead and say, all right, just pace yourself. This is just the beginning. And then people joke and say, like John Pelkey always says, all right, you're gonna be halfway through, but not really. If you think about the miles, yeah, the races you might be halfway through, but the miles just keep doubling every day. So
Mm-hmm.
but it went well. I was able to finish, and they have a cup every year for the marathon. I think last year was the first year that they did it, but they had those at the expo last year, and this year they didn't. So you had to get them at the finish line, and I was afraid they would sell out, so I went ahead and got my cup
Mm-hmm.
after the 10K, and they did sell out, later in the week. So I'm glad I was able to go and get
Mm-hmm.
it. And it's a plastic cup, but it's a reusable and it's a hard cup, and it
Mm-hmm.
just has the marathon weekend themes on it. So it's just a neat
Mm-hmm.
collectible to have. So I'm gonna try to get those every year that if I can. So that was a
Mm-hmm.
good experience.
Okay. And what time were you back at the resort for your shower and rest?
So I was back. Let's see, it started at 5 again. It was pretty consistent of me starting my race at around 5:15, between 5:15 and 5:20 each day. So I was back. Let's see, it was probably around closer to 7:30 this
Mm-hmm.
time, just because of a little bit longer of a distance. Um, and once it got back, and the bus was a little bit slower today. Sometimes they'll just go. Sometimes they wait till it's completely full. So
Mm-hmm.
you just never really know. But I was back in plenty of time because the plan today was Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, Animal Kingdom, we had the lightning lanes, so you can go and rope drop. But if you've got lightning lanes, you can ride everything, and you don't really need,
Easily.
to rope
Yeah.
drop. So um, that's what we ended up doing, and we got there a little bit later. I laid down for a few minutes and rested, but nothing crazy. I didn't actually go fall back to sleep. Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
rested a little bit, rested my legs, and then we were off to Animal Kingdom. And I think we got there around it was around 9, so nothing crazy. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was for resort guests. I think you could get in at 7:30 for the early hours. So the park was fairly crowded when we got there, but we didn't have any trouble at all. We just went right into it, and I think our first ride was supposed to be Kilimanjaro safaris, and we got in line, and then they said that they were having technical difficulty, which I've never. We were trying to figure out what that could be because if it was a truck, they would just
Mm-hmm.
pull it off to the side. So we don't know if something happened to one of the animals, if there was something more to it, and I
Mm-hmm.
never heard what it
Mm.
was. So no clue.
I
So
think
we were able
sometimes that
to,
can just be like there's an animal blocking the path and they
yeah.
can't really do anything until it moves. So I don't know. Hopefully that's what it was and not
Yeah,
something
yeah.
worse.
And you figure if it was something bad, you would have heard, later on about what it was, but we never did. So we
Oh,
went.
you know what I did here? Oh, I hate to bring
What
down
was
the
it?
mood,
Oh no, you're fine.
but just a couple of days ago, so I don't know if it corresponded with this, but one of the gorillas passed away.
I think it was before. That was before
Okay.
that weekend. I'd heard about that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they're not on the safari. So, but they're right there.
They're right near it, so
You're
I don't
right at
know.
it. So who knows? I mean, it could have been something like that, but like you
Mhm.
said, hopefully it was just something minor.
Mhm.
But we'd already scanned in our magic bands for the lightning lane. So when we chose to get out of line. They didn't make us. They said you could wait. But we
Mhm.
went right to a blue tent, which is the guest services tents
Mhm.
for those that don't know, and she was able to put us in for a return time for any time later that day. So that worked
Oh,
out
good.
great. So we went on over to our next lightning lane after that, which was Everest. So we
Mhm.
got to go ride Everest, which is awesome. Love that ride. Um, they needed some work in the merchandise shop though. That'll let me design it. If they let me design it, they'd have some really cool stuff. So
Well, what do you think they're missing there?
they just need to keep it simple. They try to do too much cartoony type stuff, and I
Mm-hmm.
get it. It's Disney, I know, but just keep it simple. The logo, the Everest logo, is awesome. They could just use
Mm-hmm.
that, make it simple and easy. And they try to make like a funny cartoon Yeti, that Yeti ski school and this kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. Or they put like big claw marks down the back of the shirt, or
Mm-hmm.
just over the top stuff. And I get it. That's Disney. They do everything
Mm-hmm.
kind of over the top, but I like subtle.
Oh, me too.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I like the stuff that looks like it could be just from that area of the world. And you have to, like, if you know, you know that it's
yes,
from the animal kingdom.
yes,
So I
agreed.
definitely prefer that. But I mean, they're trying to please so many
Yeah, yeah.
audiences.
You're not
So,
going to make everybody happy, but it seems like some of these shops, like for instance, I always think about Space Mountain. I'm always
mm-hmm.
looking for like some cool Space Mountain stuff. They don't have any Space Mountain stuff when you go to that store when you get off the ride. It's like they've got a little bit of Tron, some Star Wars, some
Mm-hmm.
NASA, some just random stuff. I'm like, what is this? They've got, I don't know. I don't know. You gotta ride a classic ride that's been there forever, and there's no ride specific merchandise for it.
Right.
So I wish they would do something about that. The ride specific stuff and the resort specific stuff is the best. I love that. I love that kind of
Agreed.
stuff.
Agreed.
So, but after Everest, we rode Dinosaur for the last time. I
Oh,
know Seeker. I thought about you when I saw Seeker.
my boyfriend.
Yeah, and I made a funny, or I thought it was funny, Instagram post, and I always put hashtag Seeker and then hashtag Dr. Huxtable because
Mm-hmm.
Felicia Rashad,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
always Dr. Huxtable to me.
I
But
know. It's our generation.
yeah, and I told we were talking about when we left. I said next time we ride this, it'll be Indiana Jones. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of sad, and that's probably gonna be a couple of years from now because I doubt they'll have that switched over by next January. So we'll
Oh, yeah.
see.
I don't
It's
think
gonna
they'll
be a
have it
while.
switched over that quickly, although I don't think they have to do that much with the track or anything.
No,
So that
but
should be pretty easy, but
yeah, and there's honestly, it shouldn't take them long to tear it down because one time the lights came on while we were on Dinosaur, and there's not a whole lot. There's a lot of like dead space in there that it's just dark, so they don't have to do anything with it.
mm-hmm.
So it should be, and I'm sure they'll do it great, and they'll do a great job, and
Mm-hmm.
put a lot of detail into it. They usually do, especially when
Yeah.
they're coming up with something new like that. So I'm looking forward
Mm-hmm.
to it.
Yep.
So after Dinosaur, we went toward Pandora. And so we had individual lightning lane for Flight of Passage, and then I was able to get a Navi River Journey lightning lane after we had used one of the other ones
Mm-hmm.
from earlier in the day, and then that's pretty much it for the rides at Animal Kingdom. We always love to do Festival of the Lion King. That
Mm-hmm.
show is one of our favorites, so that's always a good. I think we even got a lightning lane for it later, just so we didn't have to wait in that terrible line. So we just kind of showed up and got shuttled in to the side there, so that worked out good. We always love to eat at Flame Tree Barbecue when we go to
Mm-hmm.
Animal Kingdom. That's my favorite quick service there. I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people like Satuli Canteen. Yeah, some
Mm-hmm.
people love that and swear by it, but I
Mm-hmm.
love Flame Tree. I love to go down and eat by the water where Everest just kind of looming there in the background. It's just kind of
Yeah.
it's peaceful and it's just kind of a cool backdrop there while
Mm-hmm.
you're having a meal.
The only
So,
thing I don't like about that, because it is, I think like the atmosphere is cool and it's nice. I always like eating outside whenever I have the opportunity to.
hmm yeah,
I'm afraid of birds,
for
and those
squirrels.
white bird things are over there. All that, you know which ones I'm talking about,
Oh
like the
yeah, oh
long
yeah,
legs, and they're constantly walking around hoping they give them something to eat. And
yeah.
so it's a little nerve wracking for me to eat over there.
It is. And it wasn't bad this day, so I don't know what it was, but maybe it was the time that we ate.
Hmm.
They weren't bad. We had a squirrel that was kind of lingering around, but yeah, you're right. Those birds, they don't care. They're used to humans, and they're like, no, these people will feed me, so I'm just gonna hang around at
Hmm.
their feet. And it
Hmm.
is a little odd. You're like, all right, go on to your about your day there. Leave me alone. But but that was. Oh, and we did the new Zootopia tree
Oh, okay. I haven't
show,
done it yet.
so.
So how was it?
It's good. It's different. You can still, it has some of the same elements of Tough to Be a Bug.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a brand new show. All the scary parts are not scary anymore. They're kind of funny, and I don't think any of the kids are going to be crying during the show like they were in the past. So they definitely made it more of a family friendly thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think toned it down a little bit. Although I didn't think the other one was bad.
I didn't
Overall,
either, but the way that you'd hear kids screaming,
I,
apparently it was the
yeah, it was
worst.
a very traumatic experience. But I always liked the Bugs Life show. I think maybe because of nostalgia a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I liked it. I grew up more with Bugs Life than Zootopia, but it is a good show. It's cute the way what they did with it.
Mm-hmm.
They crammed a lot into a short amount of time, so you'll just have to. They got all the characters involved, so you'll have to just check it out. It's just pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. It's good. So that was really the last thing that we did that day. And
Mm-hmm.
since we were both doing the half marathon, we actually went back pretty early that day. We left Animal Kingdom probably around 4:30, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say, because and I chose that park on that day specifically because I knew it closed at 6. So worst case scenario, we would be, it would make us get out of there and go to bed earlier that night, or at least leave
Right.
the park. But we ended up leaving earlier, so we got back to the resort. Yeah, we were both in the bed by 5:30 probably, so we got
Oh, wow.
a good amount of sleep that night to get ready and get up for that half marathon the next morning.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this is Saturday, January the 10th. Both of you up and out the door to be in the first corral.
Whew, yes,
How was it
yes.
doing that together?
It was great. It was great. Like my wife, it's going to take her longer to get ready, but she gave herself an hour, so she got up before me,
Mm-hmm.
got ready, and I got up my normal 30 minutes early. We got ready and we were out the door. We got on the bus, walked to the crowds together, and then she was in G and
Mm-hmm.
I was in D. So we split up there, but we were able to communicate. We could text each other. Sometimes in the past, the cell service has been horrible
Mm-hmm.
at the start line just because so many people are out there on their phones, I guess. But
Yeah.
I didn't have any problem this time. I could get on social media. I could listen to podcasts. Or in the past, if I didn't
Mm-hmm.
do that before I left the resort, you could forget it.
Right.
So it was a better experience, and it seems to go by faster. The first couple of years, it just seemed like you were just sitting in the crowds forever, but it goes by faster now. I don't know if they've got more entertainment. They've got DJs, and of course the race hosts are up there talking and
Mm-hmm.
interviewing different runners. So went by quick. Great weather again for the third day in a row for the half. So it was good times. Like I said, I set a PR that day unintentionally, but just felt good and just go with the flow. So, and
Mm-hmm.
wife did great. We had great weather. As if you ever heard any of my former uh, episodes of this podcast, at least we talked about the weather that we've had. So the first
Mm-hmm.
one that she ran, the half marathon got cut in half. They called it because of weather. It was like lightning in the area. And then last year it was freezing cold
Oh
and
my
rainy
God, it was
during
so cold.
in the corral, so we got soaked and then had to run 13 miles. So this year it was just kind of like it was refreshing because she finally got good weather and was able to enjoy it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a good time. And then I kind of surprised her at the end. So around the last corner, and then you go to the finish line. When I got there, it's always I always keep up with it on my own
Mm-hmm.
runner's app. And so I finished my half marathon and I stopped it. And it's probably like I don't know, tenth of a mile left. And so I waited on her around the corner until she came around and she didn't know I was doing that. And surprised her, and we were able to cross the finish line together. So it was a really
Oh,
special moment. So I caught her off guard, and I
yeah.
didn't really plan on doing that. It just kind of hit me during the race. I'm like, that would be really cool because she always jokes with me about, you should come back in the crowd and run with me. But we tried to do that at home, and I have to keep going. I can't if I stop, I can't start back up. And she does a run walk method, which
Mm-hmm.
is really great. That's the Jeff Galloway method.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense. And she's probably got a lot more energy than me after the race from doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't do it. But I was able to wait for her, and we crossed together and got some really cool pictures. So I'll have to
Good.
send you those so you can
Yeah.
post them maybe. But yeah, it was a really cool moment.
So what time did you get back to the resort this day?
So this one's a little bit longer because it's about once you start, and 2.5 to 3 hours depending on the race and then the buses. So it was probably closer to 9:30 or 10 maybe
Mm-hmm.
when we got back. Actually, a little bit later than that. So we did take a little bit of a nap. We were going back to Epcot on this day. That
Mm-hmm.
was of course, the park we went to on Expo Day. So it got cut short that day, and we were going to get a later start today. So I wanted to make sure we got that park in twice.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of do some things that maybe we didn't get done the first time. Or the first day that we were there. So got back and took us a little bit of a rest and then got up and got ready and headed to Epcot.
Okay. And you had your lightning lanes good to go. So where
Oh
did you head
yes.
first?
Same, kind of the same before. We switched Remy's for Frozen this time,
Mm-hmm.
so we rode Frozen, and our plan was to ride Remy's on a single rider, but then it broke down, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't get to do that. So then we're like, well, let's check out the new test track. We hadn't rode that yet, so we went and got in the single rider on that, and it broke down right when we got to
Oh no.
to the first. Yeah, so we were 0 for 2 on those. So we were able to do Soarin' again, which is always a favorite. We wanted to eat at we like the Regal Eagle at the
Mm-hmm.
American Pavilion, so we were able to eat there. And then we kind of just strolled around World Showcase again because it's just some you don't have to ride anything. Sometimes it's just nice to just walk through and take your time,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that there's nowhere to be. You don't have to be in a big hurry. And just I think a lot of people are too busy going from attraction to attraction, and they miss what makes
Mm-hmm.
Disney Disney. Sometimes with all of the detail and the
Mm-hmm.
just the atmosphere there. So it's and the music and all the different countries is just really neat. So did that, did Spaceship Earth again, and then knowing that that I had a marathon the next morning, I was just kind of focused on all right, what time do I need to get back? I want to make sure I get plenty of rest tonight. So
Mm-hmm.
that type of a mindset, and then she actually went back with me because, as you know, she always gets up and kind of
Mm-hmm.
follows me through the marathon too. So we both had early get ups the next morning. So went back, got to bed actually a little bit later than the night before,
Mm-hmm.
but I probably got in the bed around 6 or 6:30. It was tough. My Tar Heels were playing that night, so
Oh
I
gosh.
watched the very start of the game, and I'm like, I had to
Uh-huh.
make myself go to bed. So she stayed up and watched it, so she could give me a full update the next morning.
A
So
rundown.
yes, they held on for a win, but oh man,
I
that was
have
that
not
was
been
tough.
paying attention to any of that. I've
Oh
just been too
gosh,
busy.
yeah,
Uh,
I
we had to
wish I was.
we had to go back. Did you end up doing your individual lightning lane for
Oh,
Guardians?
oh yes, yes,
And
of
if so,
course,
what song?
yes. We
Okay.
did, and we got Run. I run.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
I
So
ran because you
I
did that
ran. I
day.
did. I
You
ran.
ran.
I run. I ran. We did all of it. So yeah, that was the song we got that time, which was good. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
It goes with the ride well. Other than September, I like Everybody Wants to Rule the World. So I hadn't got that one the past couple
Mm-hmm.
of trips. So I'm kind of wondering, did they do away with it? I don't know, but I
Hmm.
love that song.
Hmm.
But yeah, I can't believe I forgot Guardians. What was I thinking?
I know. What are you thinking?
Gosh,
I mean,
gosh.
I'm gonna go on the record because I'm sitting here thinking about it as we're talking about the songs, and I have consistently said that I ran as my least favorite song.
Yeah,
I have to say, it's growing on me a little bit,
it does.
and I think September is my least favorite song now.
Really.
Yeah.
It's funny how those change, and I wonder if it's like you relate the song to a ride, and so that makes you like it a little bit more. But then that's reversed for
Maybe.
September, so who knows?
I mean, maybe. I mean, to be honest, I don't recall if I had ever heard the song I ran before I ever heard it on Guardians, in spite of my age. Somehow
Yeah,
I just was not familiar with it. So I didn't have any kind of connection to it. And so that's why I was like, I don't like that one. But now you're right. I associate it with the ride.
yeah,
So,
that's got to be it. The only association I really had with it, I mean, I'd heard it before, but the old game Grand Theft Auto, it was in that game,
oh,
and I
really?
played that a little bit. That was kind of like at the end of my video game
Yeah.
little history, I guess you'd say. But it was
Alex
in that
plays that.
game. Yeah, it's in that. I think the first one, or maybe it's.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one, but it's in that one.
I don't know.
And
The kids call it GTA now. They
GTA,
never
yeah,
say the full name. And when he
yeah.
first started doing that, I was like, what? What are you
You're
talking
playing
about?
what? Is
Eh,
that like TTA or is
Be-
that what is that?
because
No,
everybody our age says the full name
yeah, yeah,
and they just don't. Anyway,
no,
so yeah,
yeah.
I wonder if he was familiar with the song beforehand. Who
He
knows?
may be. He
I'll
may
ask
know
him
it.
later.
Maybe that's why he likes it. Who knows? For different reasons.
Yeah.
So yes, so off to bed we went. I
Mm-hmm.
had trouble sleeping this night. I don't know. It must have been some nerves there because I know I was tired. So it
Mm-hmm.
had to have been nerves. I don't know if you've ever, scheduled to get up. I always set like three alarms on my
Oh
phone,
yeah.
and I wake up and it feels like I've been sleeping for hours and hours, and it's been 30 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw the clock a lot that night, but I guess I got more sleep than I had thought I did at least, because we got up. But the marathon starts at 4:30, and so the
Mm-hmm.
first bus starts running at 2. So I actually had to get up at 1:30
Mm-hmm.
this morning, so it was even earlier. So I got up, got ready, and was out the door. She always gets up with me and just takes my picture right before we go, and then she
Mm-hmm.
she usually goes back to bed. So she went back to bed for a little bit, and this morning then caught the bus over to Epcot, and then got to the spectator areas and was
Mm-hmm.
able to follow me there at the start line. And I threw her. I wore a long sleeve shirt that day. Didn't really need it because it was the warmest day.
Mm-hmm.
But saw her at the start line, and then she headed over to the Magic Kingdom. And you go through Magic Kingdom around mile 9 or 10,
Mm-hmm.
and so got to see her on Main Street and ran down.
Aw.
I always get a kiss on Main Street. That's kind of like
Aw,
a
that's so
tradition.
sweet.
So got that, and then from there she goes over to the finish line, and
Mm-hmm.
so I will send her a text like at every mile. I'm like, all right, 11,
Mm-hmm.
12. And so just kind of she can keep track. On the Run Disney app, I think it is, or one of the tracking apps that they use, she can kind of see where I'm at. But I always like to send her in real time, where I'm
Mm-hmm.
at, and she always sends me like motivation, like you're doing great, or
Oh.
keep it up, So just some encouragement along the way, but it goes good. And then like that, those last probably 7 miles are the absolute worst. It's tough. Your body
Mm-hmm.
starts letting you down a little bit. You're getting tired. It was hot. Like as soon as the sun come up,
Mm.
it was so hot. And they ended up actually after I finished. I didn't know this until after the fact, but they actually cut the marathon short, because it was getting so hot and people were kind of dropping,
Oh.
passing out, like heat exhaustion, that type of thing. So I
Mm.
saw several people having issues, so cramping up. I mean, it was
Mm-hmm.
warm. It was probably it was in the 70s probably at that point in time, and
Mm.
we got up to the low 80s on a couple of the days, but that marathon was a warm one.
But you did
So
it.
needless to say, I did it, but I did not set any record. It was my third fastest one. So of the five that I've done, it was the third fastest. But,
Mm-hmm.
whew, man, it was rough. So
Mm-hmm.
but my thing was, I'm not, I'm gonna take it easy. I just want to, finish and get through it. I'm not trying to set
Mm-hmm.
my personal record. That was not my goal at all on this
Mm-hmm.
trip. That might be weather dependent, or just to see how I feel. But
Mm-hmm.
just kind of wanted to get through it on that day.
You had planned on probably taking a nap for a few hours. Were you able to
Definitely.
go to sleep with all the adrenaline of having just finished it?
Yeah, yeah. You do. Your body will surprise you, but it can recoup so fast. But I don't know. I just once I get my shower, getting off the bus is really the
Mm-hmm.
worst part because once you sit down and you're still for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you're trying to get up and move again, and then
Mm-hmm.
going down the stairs is rougher than going upstairs at that point in time. And you're just like exhausted, and
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of hungry, but you don't really have an appetite, but you're
Mm-hmm.
thirsty, but you've drank so much Powerade and water during the marathon, you don't want anything to drink. So it's kind of your body is just kind of in flux. It's a little in shock, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different feeling, but once I got a shower, I laid down. We probably took a 2 to 3 hour nap.
Mm-hmm.
I always ice my knees as just like a precaution, like a preventative type thing, just to keep them as fresh as possible. And so that helps. And so after a couple hour nap, I was up and moving around pretty good, and maybe a little slow that day, but not bad. And we were planning on going back to the Magic Kingdom that night.
Mm-hmm.
We always close out our trip too with the Magic Kingdom if we can. So we wanted to do that, and maybe I told her I'd watch the fireworks again if my legs were going to hold up, because sometimes standing still is worse than
Oh, for sure.
moving around. So having to stand and wait for fireworks is pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we did good. We kind of timed it to where, and after the first night where we watched the fireworks, we knew we didn't have to camp out and find us a spot. So we
Mm-hmm.
kind of came in 15 minutes before it started, and were able to find a decent spot and watch it again right there in the hub. But we were more on the left hand side this time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good, and we did have individual lightning lane for Tron. I didn't have I didn't purchase the Lightning Lane pass at first on that one, but I went ahead and added that, right before we had left to go down on our trip.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, if we're going to be in Magic Kingdom, I'm going to want to ride a couple things, and I'm not going to want to wait. So I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it's part of the trip. Factor it in, budget in for it, and it's just part of it. If you're going to go to Disney, I think it's worth it to do that. Your time is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So can't. It's hard to put a price tag on it. No, I'm not going to do that Premier Pass. That's just
Oh,
still
no.
outrageous.
No.
But the way we work it, it works perfect for us. So
Mm-hmm.
did that. I think we did Space Mountain, um, again, Pirates and Haunted Mansion. That's like the three that I always get, and then kind of fill in around that. We were able to do Peter Pan. We did Tiana's. We did Jungle Cruise. So that night we kind of rode during the parade.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just thin that night. I think the crowds were just lighter probably because of the marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to ride a ton more than I had dreamed that we would ride that night. But it was a good time.
Good. Okay. And you stayed through the fireworks. Did you stay until the park closed?
We left right after the fireworks, but
Okay.
I think the park closed at 10, and so the fireworks were over about 9:30. So
Oh, okay.
we
Close
decided
enough.
decided to head out. But the funny thing is, as warm as it was during the day, warm enough for them to cut the marathon short, it started getting really cold that night, and so the wind was blowing, and it got really chilly, and
Mm-hmm.
so we were walking out on Main Street, and we decided to go into the confectionery and get the custom popcorn bucket. Have you ever done that?
Yes, I have. Yep. Multiple
Mm,
times. Yes.
it
What was your
is
order?
sweet. So we did the kettle corn
Mm-hmm.
with milk chocolate sauce,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did M&Ms, um, marshmallows, and Snickers, I think it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was good. Yeah. My wife, she kept asking me, "What do you want? What do you want?" I'm like, "Just get whatever. I don't care. I'm not picky." It was kind of her thing, but I was like, "I'll eat whatever." So we ended up both picking a couple different things that we wanted,
Mm-hmm.
but it was really good. The line was long, but once we got through it, it was really cool. So we took it back and ate
Mm-hmm.
popcorn in bed, and I think we turned a football game on. I can't remember who was even playing at this point, but
Mm-hmm.
um, watched that, ate some popcorn, and then passed out.
Well, I know I've said this before on the show, but I'll say it again so that you know if there's ever a line for the custom popcorn like that, you can go to the main area where you go up to get like a caramel covered apple or whatever, all
Hmm.
those sorts of things. You can order the same popcorn from there. They have like a little order form that they'll just check off what you want.
Oh,
And then you
okay.
just wait and they call your name when it's ready and they make it in a totally separate area. So if
Wow.
there's a huge line to like watch them make it right in front of you, then just do
Yeah.
that because it's super fast. And then you can still sort of watch them make it because there's a
Yeah.
glass window that you can see into the back where they're doing it for you, but they're just doing it like kind of off to the side.
Huh, okay.
Much
I'll
faster.
definitely have to remember that. Now, it was a long line, but then, it wasn't terrible. But when we left, that line had grown,
Mm-hmm.
you know, probably doubled. So those people were still waiting. So yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind for next time because it was good. I like that. I want to try maybe a different
Yeah.
combination next time too. So
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm fairly consistent because there's like I do like getting Snickers on mine, and there's
yeah.
certain flavors that you're like, yes, that's my thing.
Yeah, I wanted like salty and then sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But so she wanted the kettle corn, so that's fine. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If it was completely up to me, I probably got regular popcorn with, I don't know, I might want to try the white chocolate sauce. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
Well,
don't know.
mix it up next
Have to
time.
mix it. What's your go-to?
I usually like to get the butter popcorn, and
Okay.
then I will do like Snickers with the milk chocolate drizzle, and then
Hmm.
usually I'll get like marshmallows in there. But
Yeah.
I don't go crazy and get a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Alex, however,
He
likes to
loads
make
it up.
it the weirdest thing he possibly can. And he has not always done that, but if you go back and listen to our mother-son Labor Day weekend trip, he made like the
Hmm.
worst possible combination. It was I can't remember exactly what
Terrible.
I want to say it was
Uh,
maybe the kettle corn, and then it had like it had
Caramel sauce or
I can't
something.
I can't remember what all I remember is
Oh
that the last thing he added was the freeze-dried Skittles.
oh gosh.
And we
This
did the
doesn't sound
ordering.
good.
No, it was not. And we ordered it at the counter because the line was a little bit longer, and then we stood there at the glass watching for them to make it. And when they picked up the order off the counter and read what he had ordered, they like didn't know we were watching. So they started talking to, and they're like, "Eh," like you could tell they were looking and like
Who ordered
totally
this?
judging his order. And we started dying laughing. It was probably
Oh
like my
gosh.
favorite memory of that trip, just because we
That's
were like, we
hilarious.
could not stop laughing. We're like, they even think it's a bad order.
They think this, what kind of order is this? That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so
So
good. Oh
anyway.
man. So yeah. So that was it for that night. That was a good night, but I was ready to
Hmm.
get back and get off my feet.
Yeah, I'm
For
sure.
sure. The legs had had enough. It's bad enough to do a run like that, a marathon, but then
Hmm.
to throw in a couple hours in the park on top of that is
Yeah.
probably not a bad choice. But it's at Disney. You gotta use your
Right.
time. Maybe not
Exactly.
wisely, but you gotta use your time.
Time is
To
money.
that's right. That's right.
All right. So this brings us to Monday, January 12th, which is your departure day.
Departure
And
day.
you had like a 3 p.m. flight or something. So you had a little bit of
Yes.
time to relax and go to Ohana for breakfast.
Ohana, yes,
So
yes,
tell me about
that's
that.
that's kind of our tradition on the Monday after the marathon. We've done it in the past, and last year we kind of took a break from it, so we didn't go. So we were looking forward to doing it again.
Hmm.
So it's nothing spectacular. A lot of that is just we've done it in the past, so we have those memories. The atmosphere at the Polynesian is awesome. The view from that restaurant is amazing. So the food is okay, but it's just you're doing it for the food is
Right.
probably the least of the reasons that you're doing it. But by that time, I'm really starting to get an appetite. So I'm like, I
Hmm.
burned what 3,500 calories or something the day before, so I'm ready to refuel my body. So a good all you can eat breakfast is
Hmm.
right up my alley then. So it was really good. We enjoyed it. We have Stitch, Lilo, Mickey and Minnie, and no, not Minnie, Mickey and who did I say? Stitch and Pluto
Oh,
come
okay.
by. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like a character meal, and two adults in there. Well, they just came by and we just got a picture with them. So it wasn't a whole
Hmm.
lot of interaction, but just enough to make it to kind of neat. But it was good. So, and it made it better. I had a gift card to use, so it was only half price.
Oh,
That made
good.
it a little bit bearable because it's pretty expensive. I think it was like 100
Oh,
bucks,
yeah.
if you're paying completely out of pocket. So,
Hmm.
but it was worth it. When we had a great view. We could see the Magic Kingdom from our table. So it was just really good. We were able to enjoy that and had some coffee and a good little breakfast, and then walked around the Polynesian for a little bit. And it was really cold that morning. It was kind of almost freezing cold with the wind.
Hmm.
But we decided to take a boat over to the Magic Kingdom and just kind of enjoy a boat ride. And then after that, we took a bus back to the All Star Sports, got our luggage from Bell Services, and called our Uber and headed to the airport. We got there in plenty of time because you never know about the security in Orlando
Hmm.
International. It's terrible. It's one of the worst ones. It's always a tremendous amount of people,
Hmm.
and that line you never know. Sometimes it goes fast. Sometimes it's just creeps, but it's always crowded.
Hmm.
So today was a crowded, creeping line that took us forever to get through security. And then once we got through, the flight was delayed. Ended up being by about an hour. It delayed it a couple different times, so probably about an hour. And then the pilot came on and told us that he'd make up for it in the air. But then the flight was like 2 hours, almost like double of what it normally was. And we circled Charlotte a couple different times. So I don't know what was going on there, but
So
we
you
were definitely,
shouted liar at
oh,
him as you
yeah, like
exited the
what are
plane?
you, yeah, so what are you talking about? But yeah, it was rough. You just want to be home at that point. So
Right.
once we landed, and you had to wait forever for your luggage in Charlotte. It's not like Orlando at all. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just the perfect ending to a trip because you're just ready for it to kind of be over and be home at that point, and everything
Mm-hmm.
is just taking longer than it should. But we finally got our luggage, got back to the car. I was able to, be in control of my own transportation for the first time in a week. So that's always a good feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
then we went and picked up our kids from my in-laws and headed home. So it was
Mm-hmm.
quick. If you ever want to burn through some time and you want time to fly, just go on a Disney trip and it will go by in the blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm. Did you have to work the following day?
Yes, I had to work that day. So I'd taken
Mm-hmm.
Monday off, of course, but then Tuesday I had to go back into the office. I had to get up 6 a.m. to get the kids up and head them to school by 7 or 7:15. I think is when the first bell rings. So
Their
yeah, it was.
first bell rings at 7:15.
Yes, they start
What
early,
time are they
early,
done
early,
for the
early, early.
day?
They finish up at I think 2:15, 2:20. That's when the elementary
Hmm.
school gets out. The middle school is like right next to the elementary school, and so they're
Mm-hmm.
done at like 3. And then the high school, they all share buses, so it's just kind of it's madness.
Hmm.
It's life in a small town. So they do it in stages, but yeah, they start early and finish early, so
Okay.
it makes for some early mornings. But I guess it's good to get it up and get done a little early and get out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. John, another successful race weekend.
Yes, yes, another one in the books, number 5.
You don't have any more races planned for this year, do you?
Not this year. I
Okay.
saw where registration for Marathon Weekend 2027 is March 17th, I think it is. So
Mm-hmm.
set my calendar already. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be going in late to work that day so I can, have my workstation set up and
Uh-huh.
try to get registered again for Dopey number 6. That's the goal.
Is your wife going to do the 10K again?
Well, I think she's going to try to do the half. She does the
Oh,
half. So
sorry, the
she's
half. Yeah,
now. I'll
that's
try
what I
to get
meant.
her to do the 10K. Trying
Yeah.
to talk her into it, but no, she does great. I think she wants to. Every time when we go down, she's like, oh, "This is going to be my last one. I'm not doing this again." And then you get down there and you're in the bubble and you're around
Uh-huh.
all the different runners, and then you get sucked back in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think she'll end up doing it again.
Okay. All right. Well, it has been wonderful chatting with you. As always, I
Yes,
will
yes.
continue to tag you every time I have the buffalo chicken grilled cheese.
Please do. Anybody, please tag me. I can live vicariously through anybody that's going down and eating that. Especially now, it's going to be a year before I have it again.
Oh
So
my
I'm hoping they
gosh.
don't change the menu.
Listen, now you need to figure out like a dupe recipe or something so that you guys can make it at home.
I know. I'm kind of torn on that kind of stuff though, because I want it to be special. When I go,
Mm-hmm.
not just that, but anything that you experience on a vacation. That's why,
Yeah.
a lot of people move down to Orlando, and I'm scared to even think about that because I don't want it to take away from the experience when you go.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We'll see. A year's a long time, so we'll see.
I know. I mean, you're going to go through withdrawal from that
I
sandwich.
will. I will.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. And
Sure.
listeners, make sure you go and check out some of the photos that we'll have posted from John's trip. And I'm sure you'll be back at some point.
I hope so. Well, thank you for having me back. Hopefully, people are not getting sick of hearing from me. But again, just if you're thinking about Disney, doing a Disney race,
Mm-hmm.
please just do it one time. Give it a try. You
Mm-hmm.
can do it. I promise you, you can do it. You see people from all shapes, sizes, athletic
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds. It's something about doing a Disney race. There's less pressure there than even at your local, hometown 5K. So
Mm-hmm.
it's worth an experience to give it a try one time.
Agreed. All right. Well, have a good rest of your evening.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you so much to John for being on the show and for inspiring me and hopefully all my listeners to get moving. If you enjoyed today's episode, please let me know with a review or by sending me a message through my website, which is wherelongtobepodcast.com. And if you aren't subscribed, please click that follow button in the podcast app you're listening on now. And with that, I hope everyone has a magical week. Stay safe out there. And as always, keep daydreaming about where you long to be.